she loves the snow. Yes, you do, said the girl. Are you having fun, huh? Well, that's a nice sunset there. Alright, it's a pretty nasty day out. It's slippery as hell. It's raining all day. It's actually Christmas Eve. So, happy holidays to everyone out there, anyone who's watching this. I'm going to take the lower part of the shifter out on my Miata here. This is my winter Miata. And, oh, hang on a sec. Let me turn my light on. There we go. Alright. So I've got this thing here. It's pretty scuzzy and nasty. There's a little light down there that illuminates it at night. So I'm going to take this out, and I want to make another thing to put in here that looks a little bit better. Maybe use some different colors. I'm going to use a technique that I've seen people use to make their own gauge faces, where they print them on clear plastic. So I'm going to get this thing out. I'm going to take the center console out and get to it. And I think I have an LED bulb I can replace that bulb with too, so it makes this just look a lot nicer. Because it's kind of grungy looking. I know it's an automatic. It's kind of nice. I've been kind of enjoying driving this Miata. I switched over to this one. My other Miata is in the barn at my parents' farmhouse for the winter, staying safe and dry. And so it's kind of nice not having to clutch all the time, even though I still feel for the clutch all the time, coming to a stop, things like that. So just to force a habit there. But I'm going to try and spiff this car up a little bit and do a few things to it, you know, that don't cost too much money, but, you know, improve the look and feel of the car. So all right, I'm going to get tearing this out, and I'll see what this looks like under here. All right, so this is a shot of it at night. That's how bad it looks. It's cracked up, and like the different layers are separating. So this will be like my little before shot, and we'll see how I get it looking after. So this is out. I'm going to move inside and take it apart. I think it's just two pieces of plastic sandwiched together with little clip tabs. So, alright, so I just popped those tabs out, and then this piece will come out. So I'm going to clean these up. These are pretty dirty. And you can see why it looks so awful there. The layers are starting to separate and fall apart. So I'm going to take this piece of plastic out, and I'm going to scan it so I can print something that's exactly that same size. And what I'm going to do is print whatever design or colors I want onto this clear window decal. I'll probably print like a color layer, and then the top layer will be the actual design I want. I can change the color of this tab too. I've got some pieces of 3M vinyl here, some samples that I got. I might be able to incorporate those into it somehow. I'm thinking about wrapping one of my Miatas. I'm not sure which one. I kind of like this green. I used it to wrap my vape the other day, just playing around with it. That turned out pretty good. So I'm going to take this piece of plastic out and scan it so I can get all the letters and numbers in the right spot. And then I'll start printing out some test pieces on this and see how it looks. And so this is curved and it's pretty thick and can't lay it out flat. So I want to scan it so I can start designing what I want it to look like. So I just traced a rough thing, shows me where each doodad is. And I'm going to scan this, and then I'll have my basis for my design. Alright, so here it is on the computer. I put something behind it on the scanner just so it wouldn't be all white. So I'm just going to clean this up and then print a test run of it to make sure it is correctly sized. Alright, so I've got my test piece that I printed out. Everything's in the right spot. I'm just using GIMP to, I also use Microsoft Paint, but don't use MS Paint to print because it will not print the right size. GIMP will print the actual size that the scan is. So I'm just going to go back and paint and edit this. I'll have to make a color layer and then the mask layer. But first I'm going to design it to what I want it to actually look like in the car. And then I'll split it up into layers. Printed out all my pieces here. I have one of each printed on plain paper. This is the blocking layer, which the black will block the light coming through on it. This is my color layer, which will colorize these shapes here. I chose a square for stop, backwards arrow for reverse, a circle for neutral, and then arrows of varying colors for my forward gears. So with that down, I will lay a color layer over it, and then I think I will use a clear color layer because that makes the colors a little bit richer, and then this will be laid over the top of that, all the layers glued together, and then I will use a piece of acrylic to replace this piece that's definitely worn out pretty good, pretty worn out. So here I have a few layers stuck together. I've just been using double-sided tape. So I had my first layer, the light blocking layer, and then I put down the paper layer with the colors, and then one of the transparent pieces with the colors, and next over that I'll put this, and then that will be under the piece of plexiglass. So I got all my layers glued together. The bottom layer is the paper light blocking layer with just the selector holes cut out there, and then I have a layer of the colors printed on paper, then a layer of the colors printed on the translucent material, and then I have 2 layers on the top. And you can see the light gets through it pretty good, and I can't see any trace of the colors underneath the top layer. I did have to add another layer because I could see little traces of it. So next I just have to cut a piece of plexiglass to the same size to fit in there, and then I will attach this to it and see how it looks. So I'm also going to change this indicator from orange to green with some of this. This is like vinyl car wrap. I'll just cut out a little square, stick it on there. So this is my piece of acrylic. I actually found some I had in the garage that is the exact same curve as this. So I cut out a piece, shaped it with the Dremel, and got those little slits in it. So I'm going to clean that up, and I can take it inside, and I think I can put everything together now. Okay, going to attach this to the acrylic. Sorry. I think I'll just tape it around the edges because you won't be able to see that due to this rim around it here. We'll cover that. Here it is put back together. Now you can see the piece of green vinyl in there, kind of. Let me get under the light here. Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to clean this up because it is filthy and nasty, and then put it in the car tomorrow and hope it looks good. Okay, so I've got the lights on. This is how it looks at night. It's not too bright. I like that, and the light's kind of diffused. Not too bright, no glare on it really. So I'm pretty happy with the way this turned out. I mainly did it because the old one looked unsightly and it was falling apart. So this looks pretty decent, and it looks like you know, it could potentially be a factory thing, maybe if they had the numbers there. So I think it turned out pretty decent for basically just being thrown together in a couple of hours. So definitely if in the future I wanted to do something like this again, if I took my time and designed something really nice and maybe had it printed with a laser printer instead of an inkjet, you could make something really awesome. And I think I'm not sure if I will, because I'm probably not going to have this car too much longer. I'm thinking of reselling it this spring. But if there's little things like this that I can do to the car to spiff it up, I don't think it'll be that much better. hopefully for the next owner. And I'm not 100% if I'm going to sell it yet, not really sure. I actually bought this car with the intent of using it as a parts car, but since it was complete running and a state inspection on it, I didn't really want to tear it apart. It does kind of suck that it's an automatic, but it's kind of cool because I got to do a little project like this. So this same technique could be applied really to any, I'm sure many other makes and models of cars. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I'll see you next time.